You're going to wear those?
That first color?
That one is awesome.
You're saying that's the sneaker of the year.
So far.
Why?
And it's always shifting because I just had that feeling towards it.
Yeah.
If other people are allowed to have that feeling about shoes that I don't think are that great.
Like what?
What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You were watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, my two friends. To my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
We're here.
Yes, we are. To my left, Mr. Brendan Dunne.
I have a lot of questions.
Okay, right off the bat.
Yes, first thing, Welty, what is that Bayou juice that you're sipping
What
on?
is that?
What is it? What is it? That
root beer?
concoction in the Nalgene bottle over there? I'm worried.
Just sweet tea.
Okay, I thought it was a Mountain Dew or something.
No.
A rare Mountain Dew flavor I didn't know about just yet.
Shooting in the afternoon. The energy should be up.
Once he starts sipping that sweet tea, I think he's going to go
real.
bonkers.
Yep.
For real.
Like Milhouse and Bart when they had the all syrup squishy.
We got past the White Monster, and now we're on God's
green-
Country's tea. Morgan Wallen approved.
Yeah, crack it open.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
take
take
a
a swig with the...
Take a swig.
You
There
can
we
tell
go.
he's hydrated because it's always the pebbled ice. Shake it by the microphone so that people know. Give him some ASMR.
Oh, gosh.
And then my question for you is that really Joe La Puma sitting next to me? Because your identity was compromised recently, and I want to authenticate you while
It
you're
was.
here in
It's
front
true.
of us.
My TikTok got hacked by some crypto
Crypto
bros.
scammers?
The second person on this podcast that crypto bros hacked.
Yeah,
Your Twitter.
both of you have been victimized.
Yes.
What were you shilling on there? Or the fake version of you?
no,
You were
I'm
trying to
getting
get
it-
me in on Ethereum or Dogecoin or
No,
what is it?
I have nothing. I
Did
know
you get
nothing.
the account back yet?
You said
Not yet.
your credit card got
Not yet.
hacked by like a Russian guy. And
My credit card
Coney
info got
Island.
stolen about 15 years ago. This is different from just
Tough
not
one.
turning the 2FA on. I need you guys to turn the 2FA on. We got valuable trade secrets
know.
in our accounts hiding. We
know.
can't have these things be compromised.
I know it's a little scary. What are they going to post next? But I think we locked the account, and I think I'm getting it back soon. I think I'm getting it back.
Okay, good. And
Yes.
I feel like I should ask you like a security question while you're sitting here to make sure it's really
Shoot.
you. Like, what is your mother's maiden name? No, don't say it. No, don't say it because that's how they're gonna get your account.
Fuck, I think you're right. We'll bleep that. Yeah,
What
but a
street
strong
did you grow
Italian
up
maiden
on?
name. You ever eat at that place? That's a little hint.
Okay. Don't.
That's all right. That's it.
Okay. That's all they get.
Kind of a catch-up episode. We got some stuff to get to, though.
Yes, for sure. More Air Max 95 talk. Always more to talk about when it comes to Air Max 95. We have a super techie, maybe too nerdy, maybe too audacious, but a futuristic pair of shoes here, the Nike Hyperboot that I want to try out.
talk about that smell you get when you go into a sneaker store back in the day. Is it coming back?
Yeah, I may have sniffed a shoe for 2 minutes. A lot to get to. As always, go to complex.com/shop. Tons of products getting updated every day. Music, sneakers, clothing, it's all there. Complex.com/shop.
How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Afternoon on a Monday.
We got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
Yes.
We've been gone a couple weeks. Sometimes that happens. So if some of this feels dated, it's because we want to get up to speed on things that have been happening in sneakers. There was the MoMA Nike Air Max 95 release, and hopefully people remember that was a shoe we told you about a month ago here on this show, and then it came to fruition. This is the reverse Sergio Lozano sketch Nike Air Max 95 follow up to the Neon.
Yeah, I got a pair and I said, thanks, Sergio. And multiple people said, who's Sergio? Sergio Lozano.
Come on, who's Sergio?
Yeah, there's only one when it comes to the Air Max
I think one of the
95.
most disappointing sneakers this year.
Tell me why.
Because so the shoe is based off of a sketch by Sergio Lozano, which is like an inverse of the original Neon, right? And with the white sole and whatnot.
The gradient just flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Sketch he did in 1994.
But it's not like there's no materials like denoted on the sample, right?
The sketch.
The sketch, sorry. But I could maybe assume that that sketch was intended to be the way that the original Air Max 95s came out.
Same materials and everything.
Yeah. And they decided to like make it a Nike Lab-esque release and just flip the shoe into hairy suede. And it's like, why?
You think the
said that.
design of the shoe or the release?
The release.
Oh, I thought because you said one of the most disappointing shoes.
Well,
thought
I
you
mean,
meant-
everything.
No, you mean the design is disappointing rather
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
release.
Well, I mean,
the release
shoe
mechanism.
Yeah, I mean, the shoe that came out.
The actual physical makeup of the
Yes.
shoe. I agree with you. I think that they should have just done the straight reverse and not mess with it too much. My reaction was I felt like maybe they wanted to try and make the sneaker a bit more special, so they threw on this material that's maybe meant to feel a bit more premium with the nappier suede,
Hairy
more
suede a
texture
little bit.
to it. Yeah, when I was wanting just an upside down version of the Neon OG. And I still think it's a cool concept, and I think that they did a lot of interesting things in rolling the shoes out. Ben Solomon had the piece that he did around the history of the Air Max 95 in New York City with post VSOP in it. I really like that piece. It happened at the MoMA Design Store. Very quiet shoe that didn't really leak, save for here on this podcast.
No leaks.
I think that's always impressive. And
Yeah.
the sneakers pass reservation I'm cool with. But the actual shoe I was really excited for. And then when I held it in hand, I was...
Yeah, I mean, just seeing that. I remember you had posted the in-hand version of it, and just seeing that like ultra hairy suede, where like Air Max 95 is usually just the microfiber suede. Sometimes leather, sometimes like a nubuck.
Yeah.
And even in my mind, I'm thinking back, I'm like, what Air Max 95 in the past came out in a hairy suede? I don't think that there's like really ever been any.
Yeah.
Man, it's just like you kind of had one job. People just want like a what if scenario, and then you have to flip it into something else. It just kind of like, it just ruined it.
I know, but I'm totally just making up this rationale. I can see a world in which a designer in Beaverton wanted to make it more than just a reverse of the color, because some people could respond to that like that's too easy.
But that's all people want sometimes. Like you have like a fastball down the middle, and it's you try to do too much on it, and you just kind of like ruin the whole thing.
So you think that they tried to do too much on that?
Yeah, it's like you literally
Sergio sketch.
people just asked you to release the sketch, you know, and then you did something else to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One thing I would say about those, black laces is a must.
You said that.
Yes.
You said
Changes
that when
the
we were
whole
talking
shoe.
about on the night of the release.
Changes the whole shoe.
Is that what I'm doing wrong?
Trust me, changes the whole shoe. No matter how you feel about it, changes the whole shoe. I also think the black, like, you try to get it as close to the Meta as possible. It's
Yeah,
not,
because that's what we want. We want the
yeah.
Meta.
it's not close, but
Right.
like I felt when I put the black laces in, closer to it. But
we
I
have
told
Meta.
Omar from No Ideas Original, I went back to his post. He's the first one who put the black laces in. And when I got mine 2 days later, I switched them out, and then I went back to his post. I was like, black laces are
He
a
does
must.
such good work.
Yeah.
I love his take, his perspective, the way he chronicles things so much. Well, you said you had one more thing to say on the shoe?
But it's like, I know suede is a different thing, but like imagine if they had just released, like imagine if they had released it in patent leather. You know what I mean? It's like same thing. It's like flipping it into a material that.
No, that's even more of a
Disagree.
bastardization.
I know that's what I'm saying though,
No,
but like
I don't
to me,
think so.
to
I
me
think
that
patent
like
leather's a bad comp. To
I
that.
agree with Joe.
That's like
That's like you really went left.
that shoe is just. Ugh.
You think it's actively bad?
It's just It's just like it could have been great, and you just like screwed the pooch.
Okay. I don't feel as strongly as you.
You literally had to tap in with the keeper out of position, and you just like missed the goal.
That's soccer,
Yeah,
football. Sorry.
tap in
a
with
lot
the
of sports.
keeper. Yeah.
you're standing
Play
right.
hockey.
You're standing right in front of the goal, and the
Yeah.
goalie's on the other side of the freaking field. And you're just,
Okay, take notes. We're not going to call those people Beaverton bean counters, but the actual designers out there. The good thing is there's plenty more to come from the Nike Air Max 95 this year. We keep talking about it. Pink pair.
Yeah, pink
Coming
great.
soon.
I'm excited about those. I know it's not safety orange, but I feel like I can call it safety orange.
Okay, you feel like you have the poetic license.
Yeah, I mean that's like I feel like that's what it's based off of.
Okay.
But the Mandarin orange 95s with the big bubble, I feel like that's the one that should have made our list or could have made our list.
Don't even crack the door open to suggest that we did anything wrong on a list.
I'm not saying we
okay?
did anything wrong, but we all
Perfect.
like we all argued
We
different
didn't
things.
do anything wrong. I like that.
And it's like that's the one I feel like could have been on the list.
Yeah.
Not me.
No, you
Don't
don't.
need them.
You don't care about the orange?
No, I
Air
think
Max
the blue.
95s?
The blue. The
Blue.
ones.
Yes, blue. We're
The
all
blue,
in for
the
blue.
blue clears the orange
Listen,
easily.
I don't think so
Imagine
at
this.
all.
Easily.
The blue.
I feel like the orange 97 is way more important than
Well, you
blue-
said the 97, so is
Sorry,
that a
97.
different shoe?
Sorry.
Oh, he got you.
No. I was thinking that because 1997 is when the orange Air Max 95s
he leveled you. He went Galaxy Brain on
first
you.
came out.
Leveled shit. Blue over orange, though.
Yes,
No.
Joe's correct.
Yeah.
Imagine when Nick Bianco hits the office with the blue hair and the blue 95s with the blue bubbles bursting out of those big old bubbles.
I just think orange 95 is just so important to the history of 95s.
Why?
It's because it's one of the original, not the original colorways, but one of the original.
Second gen.
Yeah, and it's like they've done that shoe a million times since, and I mean, I feel like there's a reason why they chose to bring orange back. you know?
Here's the good news for people complaining. Orange will be more readily available than the Neon Pair. The pink will also be more available. Those will have way more units than the Neon 95s. And also, I know people were kept saying, oh, a sneakers drop is going to happen. No sneakers drop ever happened for the Neon 95s. I don't know why people were so caught up on that being a thing, but those upcoming pairs, orange should hit on sneakers, pink should hit on sneakers, blue as well from what I believe. There's a blue tint women's pair.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff
But
coming.
the orange was released in, sorry if I butcher her name, Vanetta Carter.
Yes.
She was the one who debuted.
You know what? Young Corey had him first.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Circulate himself. He stepped
Okay.
out in a pair a few days before that.
Okay, I'm wrong.
So not that you're wrong. I just want to make sure we give him
Okay.
his due.
I was looking up this on my phone since we don't have laptops yet on set. Black and purple Atmos Japan release. I like these
Let
two.
me see
Big
these.
bubble.
I didn't see these.
Zoom
at all.
in.
Okay.
Zoom
yeah,
in.
Yeah.
Thought about buying them. It seems like it's going to get a U.S. release later, but
Nice shoe.
they dropped in
Nice
Japan.
shoe.
I
Leather?
kind of like how it's shaping up to be the year of the 95.
Yes.
Yes, same.
It just, I mean, I know you for obvious reasons, Joe, but you know, I've been, at least in the past, like a big fan of 95s, and it's just so much more exciting. And this is just like a personal bias
Yeah.
shining through. But like when one of the hot sneakers of the moment is something that you actually have an affinity for,
Yes.
instead of, okay, this is one of the hot shoes of the year, and I can understand why it's important, but I would never wear it or care about
You're
it.
not excited to participate in other hot shoes of the year sometimes.
Yeah, and I feel like we all feel that way to some degree, right? There's always like a shoe that's maybe like top 3 or top 4 sneaker of the year because we all realize how important it is. But
And
it
the
may,
brands are pumping it out.
yeah,
nonstop.
but it may not be a sneaker that you're running out to the store to wear yourself, and that's like just us being honest. But it's like 95s, the shoe getting that energy. SB 95s.
Can't wait.
Oh man, you're gonna wear those?
That first color?
That one is awesome.
You're saying that's the sneaker of the year.
So far, and
Why?
it's always shifting because it's just I just had that feeling towards it.
Yeah.
If other people are allowed to have that feeling about shoes that I don't think are that great,
Like what?
Like what?
You don't want to throw anybody.
Oh
under the
yeah,
bus.
I know. I know what
I
you
you're
all,
know-
you
I
all
know
know,
what shoe
you
you're
all know.
talking about.
No, but
I
you
know
all,
what he's gonna
I
say.
know
I'm
what
not
you-
going to
he's not
say it
gonna
because
say
there's
it.
multiple things of people who all
Yeah.
know that they try to campaign so hard for this is the sneaker of the year, and
Yeah.
like if you don't think that this is the sneaker of the year too, then like you have a personal bias against someone, and it's like no,
Well,
I
who
don't,
says that?
dude. People on Twitter all the time.
Look,
And what? Because of the brick by brick?
No, just like in general that
Yeah.
people get so emotionally attached to like their pick of sneaker of the year because it's a sneaker that they bought and purchased and it's their favorite shoe of the
That's
year.
good.
What's
That's
the-
a good thing.
but
It's a
what's the
good
one
thing,
for
but
this
just
year?
because I don't care about it doesn't mean that I'm hating on it.
What's the one for this year?
There's plenty of stuff out
You
there
haven't named one though.
that I mean, like one shoe that like I personally don't see. I mean, I understand why people like it, but
Yeah.
I don't think his sneaker of the year is Nigel Floors.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought you were alluding to.
that's what I thought too. It's got to be up there.
I get
think
it, but
so.
to me, it's not like that's not sneaker of the year.
Here we go complexing again. It's April and we're talking about sneakers.
I hope people are getting
If you
upset
want
about
the-
it, but
if
it's
you want
like
the definitive sneaker of the year. Make
But
sure
have
you come
you
to
said
ComplexCon
that?
in Vegas.
And people come at you like, oh, you have a personal bias?
No, it's just that's the way it always shakes out on X.
Okay, toxic platform that it is.
Yeah.
Cesspool that it is.
Yeah.
But again, if people want the real, final, objective word on the sneaker of the year,
They go to
they
ComplexCon.
can come to Vegas, and
May have
that one
heard
will
about
not be
that panel.
biased. Or
But
Yeah.
I say it to say that SB95
Yeah.
that we saw,
pink pair, gum bottom.
yeah, it's almost like a fuchsia
Pardon me.
on the lace loops.
Yep.
It reminds me a lot of that Meta pair,
Which meter pair?
the Meta pair that was on our Air Max 95 list, the brown and purple.
The Biotech?
Yes.
Okay.
It reminds me a lot of that one.
Yes, it's got. Yes, I know. Now that the color blocking is kind of similar.
And like the color palette to some
I'm with
degree.
you right there. I'm with you.
And that's a shoe that I love, but it's not like 1-to-1 retro of that sneaker.
Sure.
But it just brought that energy back, especially seeing the gum sole on it and just the hits. And it's like, this is what I thought the SB4 did so well the first time around, is that like, it's not exactly what you're expecting from either SB4 or SB95, like the colorway that they launch it in. And it just gives you something new to digest. And that's
Let me ask you something.
What?
Mr.
Why is there so much vitriol in your voice?
Because you know what? Let me ask you
Why
something.
do you sound so mad at him right now?
Yeah, what did I do wrong?
Nothing yet. Mr. How many songs can you name when you're wearing vintage T-shirts? How many songs can you name? That is your go-to all the time. You're getting the SPs. Are you going to bring out the skateboard in Jersey City and try at least a heel flip or an ollie?
You're saying we need to see Matt Welty skating if he's
Yes.
going to be going so
Hold
hard
on.
for the SB4s.
Where's my camera?
What does SB stand
Note
for?
to
Sandy
skate shop.
Bodeckers?
Note to skate shops.
Do not sell to this man.
If you sell this man a pair, he has to ollie.
I got a good rapport with NJ Skate Shop.
Okay. NJ Skate Shop.
We don't care about your rapport. Do you have a good bag of tricks?
Not for anyone else. Make this man to my right,
Sips
not
tea.
ollie,
Literally
because I
sipping
can
his tea.
heel flip before you sell him the Air Max 95 SB that he wants to call people out all the time.
Do you still have a heel flip?
You could do it.
Maybe. Dude, it's been a long time.
10
Okay, so we're gonna
10
do it.
Tries.
We're
Are you going to
listen.
land one heel
It's
flip?
been like 10 years.
Let's make a deal. You do a heel flip or a kick flip in them, I buy them for you.
Wow, the stakes are high. Are
How,
you going to shake on it? How will you do not shake it? This is a free. There's
but
no
how am I?
downside
Well,
for
no,
you.
no.
Why
The
don't you
question
not
is,
shake
how
his
am I
hand?
going to
Joe's
be able
extending
to
his hand
go
for a
and
handshake.
how am I going to be able to do the trick in the shoes, and then
Here's what happens. You buy the shoe,
yeah,
and then if you can share with us
I get a
a
refund.
non-AI clip.
That's
there
true.
better not be any chat GPT. We better not see you in Miyazaki mode. You imagine him doing the kickflip for Ghibli. You doing a kickflip in the shoes. Joe's gonna send
Or
you,
heel
he's
flip.
Gonna, he's gonna reimburse you. Yeah, heel flip, kick flip.
Oh gosh, man,
It's free.
What?
There's
What are you
no
worried about?
downside.
I haven't done that in like 10
But
years.
there's no downside. You're not losing it. It's not a bet where like you have to pay him.
What if you ollie Dave Matthews?
Lying down? Our producer Dave Matthews lying down on the
He
gravel.
won't take the bet. Listen, I tried
It's not
to
a
make...
bet. It's just free. It's free
Okay,
upside.
heel flip or kick flip?
We'll try.
Why you sound so stressed?
Yeah.
You better go home tonight and start working on it.
Oh gosh.
They're on me.
What is there any way I could get a free pair from you?
No, what are you going to do, run?
I already did.
No.
I ran in them.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have any extreme sports skills.
You think that?
I'm asking. I don't. Tubing, terrible. Anything water sports, terrible. I don't. Do you? What is your?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Wait,
I
so
don't.
but you don't like this 95 though?
Joe doesn't like the SB95?
So this is how I've been thinking of stuff lately.
Been coming around to it.
No, I've been putting outfits together in my head with the shoes before I get them. Because you know what?
You could do that with AI.
White tee, gray sweats in those.
You feel
And if
active?
it's in the summer, maybe I'm a little tan like I am now as in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have to get them dirty right away though. Right away.
Yeah. So we might see you in them.
But
might-
hold on. But personal color palette by
Personal color palette like of his skin?
Nowhere
no
near.
personal
As far
color
as the
palette
Sicilian
bias. No,
complexion?
of the shoe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your
I think
bias of not liking like lighter toned shoes.
I
well
like the shoe.
documented.
It's just one that I probably wouldn't buy. So different where like you were like, oh, I don't like this shoe for me, and I think it's a bad shoe. I think it's a good shoe. I just wouldn't wear it because it's light, too light for me.
So you have
But,
to buy it for him.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Retail, right?
If we can get it, yeah.
Have you seen the 401k?
I want to say too that I don't know the extent to which shoes like an Air Max 95 might be included in the SB line in the future, but when you think about the extent to which Nike SB relies on the Nike SB Dunk as part of its core business, and you think about Nike wanting to shift away from the Dunk and the Dunk being on a down cycle right now, I have to imagine that people at SB are thinking, how can we fill that gap? How can we have a different silhouette that we borrowed over from sportswear to help replace the velocity or the interest in the SB Dunk? Like, we know SB Air Force Ones are coming, so is there a future where SB Air Force One is not as big as an SB Dunk, but in there, or an SB 95 is in there in the same way?
I just can't imagine that, especially the Air Max 95. Like, they may have, tinkered with the shoe to make it somewhat more skate friendly.
Sure.
But I don't think there's any world where it's like,
you don't think they can ever sell people on an SB 95 being an SB shoe in the same way that an SB Dunk is an SB shoe?
yeah, because it's like, I think
What about an Air Force One?
No, in the same sense, because I don't think that, and I'm probably going to be totally wrong, and there's people who are working on this behind the scenes, but I just think, like, if you're going into a skate shop, and obviously not everyone buys SBs because they can skate in them, but I just think the thickness of the sole of an Air Force One is just kind of detracting from, like,
Board feel?
Yeah.
I agree, and I'm not a skater, but that feels like a way tougher sell.
What?
Air Force One.
The 95?
Yeah.
It's just like a 95, you never would be like, oh, this is a shoe I'm going to skate in.
I agree.
Yes or no?
No, you
Oh,
wouldn't.
I didn't hear. Okay.
Yeah.
But Air Force One seems clunky.
There were a lot of shoes like in the early 2000s, like S and DC, that had air pockets on them and looked maybe 95-esque, but even those shoes kind of stunk to skate in. So
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Heel flip, kick flip.
I hope we see
some
it.
flip.
I hope we have
vertical video
the chance
right there.
to post it on all of our social channels. The most important 95 thing this year, though, Liverpool 95s, as long as the Scousers get to enjoy
I'm
those.
excited for that shoe.
Yes.
Not a shoe that like I would buy or wear myself
That would
personally.
be stolen valor, even though I've been to Liverpool
Yeah.
once.
But those are awesome. That
Anytime any
regional.
Liverpool associated Air Max content pops up on my feed, I will watch it every single time. I love that shit.
Yes. And there's that video that JD Sports did where they're getting people in Liverpool to talk about their Max 95 or the 110s as they call it. It's just great.
Worth watching every time.
Yes.
Joe,
Yo.
I have something for you.
Oh,
Do you know what it is?
I peeked.
This is really awkward as I try and turn around. This is
wow.
a shoe that had you going crazy in the office.
Look at that catch, though.
I think the scent dissipated a little bit.
This was
A little bit, but
this
it's
was
still
just
here.
like the weirdest.
The Engine A.
This is the Reebok Engine A. You
Yes.
were entranced by this shoe. Welty just randomly pulled it out of a box on his desk.
This got sent. I pulled it out of the box like we do sometimes. You give a shoe a whiff. But this shoe, how it's like you don't even have to give it a whiff. It's like the whiff it's already
Wafting, yeah.
Yeah, I said to you guys, I was like, dude, you guys gotta smell this shoe because it had that really
You didn't have to tell Joe twice.
rubbery, plasticky smell that like brought you back to the 90s.
What did it bring you back to when you smelled the shoe, Joe? Because
So-
you were going crazy. I feel like the dopamine levels were off the charts. I
Well-
feel like you got a hit.
It sounds silly, but it's 100% true. When we were opening the finish line in South Shore Mall, which I've talked about a lot, it was an empty room. It was an empty space. It was all boxes and then the wall and then the signage and everything like that. This shoe smells exactly like the first day, the store not even being open.
You close your eyes and you're there.
It smells exact. And I was asking him, like, what is that distinct smell that this, I've had 1,000 pairs since that. It smells exactly like a new store opening.
Did you see
The
that catch?
pretty good.
the
Scent, new car scent. It's new Finish Line 395 1999 scent.
The thing that's crazy to me though is that the scent of it, like, it really brought me back to like. I don't need to smell it again.
They're your shoes.
It brought me back to like the 90s, or where you'd go into like a sporting goods store, even like you have to your mom goes to Walmart and you walk through the footwear section of Walmart, and just like that rubbery smell that was in the air.
That's the smell to me
distinct.
of that era, the rubbery smell. I feel like that rubbery smell is very
need
Payless, and I want to go into a Payless shoes soon just to see if they still have that same
But
scent.
I feel
'Cause
like
it's
that scent like literally dissipated as the years went on.
I agree.
Because when I worked at Foot
they're not
Locker,
making them like they used to.
That's why this
when
one
I
hit so hard.
when I
to
worked
me.
in Foot Locker, I don't remember that the store smelling like that. But I remember
Smelled
that
like the Loud Pack.
I remember that like that memory of going to stores, especially like the sporting good
yeah.
esque footwear stores. Like you'd go to like the soccer store in town and buy a
crazy.
pair of indoor soccer shoes and just get that like
Kangaroo leather.
It's just crazy how like nostalgic, so nostalgic. Like
Very powerful stuff.
Yeah.
What if they made that into a candle?
I mean, that's a little much. You know,
What if you
Can't
could
have
burn
people
it?
Can't have people over. You know, the memory of the sneaker store, but like
That wouldn't replace the Labo in your bathroom for you.
Diptyque,
Yes,
okay?
yes, this is same diptyque
You know,
household.
we don't
Maybe
need
a little
the
bit of Santa
Engine
Maria
A
Novella.
candle. All due respect, I love how it's, but
Well, you guys have a not that great of a run with sneaker candles in the past.
him. This
That's a very
SOB.
inside joke.
Not
That's
me.
a very inside
Not
joke.
me.
Let me just say this, and maybe I'm being controversial or snobby here. I've been both things in the past.
That's true.
In my home, there's no sneaker art. There's no sneaker welcome mat. There's no framed sneaker sketch on the wall. There's no. That stuff is too cheesy
Can't say the same for me.
in the household for an adult. I just don't do
I mean,
it.
dude, you were listening to freaking Anacon on a Friday night, so it's like there's a lot of fun going on in your residence.
Can't say the same for me. I have the.
I just think I'm an adult. Like that's not like my all the sneaker things I have like go on my feet. You know what I mean?
I have the shoebox with the cash in it framed.
Oh, I thought you meant an actual shoebox. With
No,
cash in
that's
it.
a dope photo to me though.
It's a classic image. Yeah.
Wow. Look, what does he have? Picasso's in the crib? God forbid. God forbid. There should be some sneaker art. No Dave White? No Dave White in the crib?
No, Dave White.
He's got the Daniel Arsham faded sneakers. Some
Oh, you do have the Murakami that you want.
Daniel.
Oh, no.
I sold the Murakami.
Yeah.
More inside jokes. I will say my most distinct memory with sneaker smells, and this isn't the right smell for me. This isn't leathery enough or rubbery enough.
Well, the real weird smell was, if you're talking like Payless, like Walmart era, was the smell of the rubber on the fake air bubbles that were on the shoes.
Never got that close.
Man, that rubber was something else.
That's a traumatic smell for you.
But what was yours?
So I remember a pair of the Nike SB Puffin Stuff Dunks.
Yep.
You guys remember those?
Yep.
Wonky colorway SB
Yep.
Dunk from
They're like light green with
2008, maybe 2007.
2007.
Okay. I remember I was in college at the University of Oregon, and this was in Eugene, and I was at a Buffalo Exchange, and I found a pair, and they were crispy. DS. No box, of course, but they just looked perfect. And I bought them. And I was like, these might be fake. But they were $60, and I was like, I have to buy them just in case they're real, because it's a good deal if they are. If they're fake, I burned $60, no big deal. Got the student loans kicking, we got cash. So I bought the shoes, and the smell was oily. And you know this oily smell from a fake pair of SB Dunks. And over the years, I never put them on my feet because I was always pretty sure that they were fake based on that oily smell. And then probably a decade later, I was liquidating a bunch of shoes that I had in Portland, an old stash, and I took them all down to Index PDX, our friends at that store, great store,
Yes.
down in Chinatown. And I gave them all the shoes I wanted them to sell. I said, put these all in consignment. I trust you on the prices, but I gave them the disclaimer beforehand. I'm not trying to get over on you. There's this pair of Puffin Stuff Dunks. I think they might be fake. I know about the smell, so if those are fake, feel free to put them in the donation bin. And sure enough, they were fake. Yeah.
Damn.
But I never wore them.
Okay.
So my integrity still intact.
You weren't trying to Fukujama them?
This is some deep references today.
Yes. What else is going on?
I will say I'm very excited for the New Balance 1300 JP. Welty, are you excited for this release?
To some extent.
That shoe never moved you.
It did. It did. So it's like the JP colorway. I feel like we had Ronnie on here, and he's referenced that, with long, as well as like the CL colorway. It's just
Steel
like
blue, yeah.
Yeah, that gray with the almost like not turquoise, but like kind of a oceany blue sort of color to it. And it's like, I like it, but a 1300 at this point doesn't really like move me to that extent. But
I know what you mean, but I feel like this is such a core New Balance collector shoe. This is not for the mesh boys and the mesh girls. This is, if you wear the New Balance 9060, this is not for you. This is a old school New Balance collector's model. The original ad said mortgage the house. I have my notes here. How much did this sneaker cost? $130 originally. Just a super expensive premium shoe. starting in 95, they started doing a quinquennial, if I can use that word, retro cycle where they're coming back every 5 years. May I?
That's new to me.
And it's just one of those fun ones that comes back around every once in a while, and they put a lot of effort into it and feels special. The new one's releasing May 29th here for $330. So I like it, these premium, high-end, top-of-the-spectrum New Balance models.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's just like, you know, at some point where you're like, hey, I love this shoe, but I don't necessarily need it in my life at this point.
Yeah. Have you had the
I've never had it.
JP before?
No, I've never had a 1300.
I think I have the 2015 and the 2020 pairs, but I never ended up wearing them that much. But I would like to get the new one, go half a size down, do the size 10 thing.
You know what got me excited in the sneaker world where I don't think that this should get me excited? And if this was anything else, I would probably hate on it. So
let's see.
I will put the disclaimer.
moment of reflection.
Transparency for once.
Phil Mickelson in his custom like Air Jordan 1 lows at the Masters.
Like an off-white pair that they made for him. I don't know. I feel like that part out.
Yeah, there was the white one. I don't think he wore those, but there were a couple other ones. There was 2 other pairs.
What in the world got you excited about?
Because Rory's Nikes?
Because it's so random and it's like it's so far from him legitimately trying to be cool. I feel like that it's far enough removed from that.
How is it removed? I feel like this is the same thing you would criticize somebody for, of like they're just trying to get extra juice or extra coverage on social media by attaching themselves to hype sneakers. Isn't this one of your least favorite things?
Because it's just so random.
Okay.
I love the randomness of it. And maybe
it doesn't feel calculated.
And then I don't know, maybe Phil Mickelson is old enough that it just seems like almost like there's almost like this bit of like you can't blame him, he doesn't know better sort ofness to it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny and wonky and maybe a little bit fun in this scenario.
Okay.
Okay. Pick your spots because you would definitely be criticizing someone else.
Can I get a heat check from you guys? I just texted you a couple photos. Do you remember the Nike Ekiden collection I was super into a few years back?
The hat's great.
Wouldn't stop talking about.
Yes.
So I bought those, the Vaporfly 3s it was from that pack with the flames on it.
How many times have you worn them?
Not zero. Absolutely zero. Maybe -1. This stuff is not at all connected, but am I potentially doing too much if I come through in the full flame kit, stepping out like, did you already say yes?
Yes, but get the hat.
Human Torch, Johnny Storm. The hat and the socks? Did you see the socks?
You don't need the socks.
Did you see the shirt?
I saw everything. Get the hat. Get the hat.
I kind of hate that.
I love the hat
you're
and
looking
shoes.
like the English patient.
I shouldn't say anything because I wore a full fit on the Jey Uso episode of the Kith sweatsuit, but
the socks are a little bit viral in the hat too.
I don't know if you
I just kind of hate those hats that have the flames up the front of them. It feels like a little too much like when Supreme was trying to make all the Fox Racing stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
I like the hat.
That's just me, but
so you're saying
hat and the shoes.
Hat and the shoes, not the long sleeve, not the socks. Welty,
that's like those Air Max 95 shorts. I wouldn't get them.
I thought you would have gotten those.
Neon 95 gradient shorts.
Well, those are swim trunks.
I know. Where are we swimming though in those? You know,
up the Satai?
I don't know.
You're not hitting the shores of Tampa in those, Joe?
No. I'd rather just do some other. No.
Full breakdown of the beachy fit.
It's just like when you get caught, getting caught red hand. Like, oh, of course he has the Air Max 95 shorts. I don't think I'm going to do those. No.
Yeah.
In my personal time.
No, fair enough. Are you excited at all about the return of the BIN Air Jordans?
Rumors
about the BIN Jordan 6 next year?
No. You know what I'm excited about?
You're like, no, not at all.
Pardon me.
You know what I'm excited about? You brought up Index Portland. I am excited about the Flint 9. The Flint Gray 9. Classic.
This means a lot to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it. Yeah.
Ton to me. And Index Portland gifted me the original one that hasn't been retroed in over 20 years. Big UConn basketball shoe. Karan Butler had them early. White shoe, I will definitely be getting them. Will I be wearing them? I'm not sure. I'm definitely getting it for sentimental reasons, though. 100%. My mom threw out the original ones I had. Okay,
What's her maiden name?
Nope. She gave them away, or she either gave them away or threw them out, and then Index Portland gave me a brand new pair, which I want. Do 9s crack?
I feel like the 9s might hold up
50-50.
well.
Oh, I might have to pop out with them then.
Really? Where are we
before the
going?
release. Mr.
Parisi?
Chow.
I'm really confused
We can't go to
because
Parisi?
you were
No,
were
Howard
hanging
goes.
out with Karan Butler recently. Congrats on all that. But he was wearing, and maybe Brendan, I don't know if you have a take on this. He was wearing Oregon Dunks while he was hanging out with Joe to talk about UConn stuff.
Listen, I don't even want to speak on this because we got crucified last time we spoke on this, and maybe you're just trying to stir the pot again. But like, I still feel like if you have no fandom, and Welty's grinning and laughing to himself because he was trying to set me up, and here I'll fall for the trap. I just feel like, in my personal opinion, this is just me, that if you have no connection to a university or no fandom, or you've never been there, or it doesn't mean anything to you, then to wear the gear is a little bit of a strange move. And I say that knowing full well that Nike is very invested in making Oregon the team and the brand a global thing for a bunch of reasons, but it still feels strange to me. So yes, Welty, I am falling for your trap. You have me on here saying, clip it out if you want, that wearing the gear or the sneakers of a college you have no connection to.
Well, you can make fun of me right now. I'm wearing a freaking Arkansas hat.
I know he's
So-
not. I know he's not. This is Karan aside. I know he's not talking about Karan. Watch your mouth.
I'm just talking about everybody.
Watch your mouth. We had a great lunch though. More on that
Okay.
coming.
Okay.
More on that coming.
I'm happy
soon.
for you, and I'm happy for him.
If
that
you
he got to
guys,
spend some time with
you know, I texted just for context. I texted my friends from UConn.
Is that context?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
I texted
he did that on purpose.
and they were like, the only person missing from that lunch table is 50 Cent. So think about how much I love 50.
Mm-hmm.
Karan was right here in terms of my UConn years.
How come 50 didn't make it to the lunch?
He wasn't in Miami.
That's the reason.
Yeah, but so
Can we spin back around? BIN
the
Jordans?
block.
Nothing?
sorry. Yeah, I know. I kind of like ended that.
I think the BIN Jordan line is one of the most underrated. I think
Yeah.
people forgot about how good the BIN Jordans were.
Yeah.
BIN Jordans 2.
BIN
Jordan
Jordan
2 is
2s, yep.
incredible. That chocolatey leather. BIN Jordan 5.
Yeah.
Ben Jordan 5 was good.
BIN
I had
Jordan
those.
13. I know they just did a retro that looks a lot like a
I feel
diet
like that.
version.
I
but
feel like that degraded, not degraded, but like lessened.
yeah, it took away from how special it was.
Yeah.
but, even the 9s. I feel like the original lineup of BIN Air
those were
Jordans
great.
has almost no misses.
Those were great.
Coming back around next year. And the value on them was pretty good. It sounds crazy that the shoe that was billed as premium was that relatively, I think $175 was the retail on those. We'll edit that out if I got it wrong off the top of my head. But
Something that really I thought was great this weekend. I don't know if I had posted it, but I had shared it. That artist Nestressi, I don't know how to pronounce it. He had done a cartoon of the three of us, but someone hit me up and I totally forgot about this. And they said, "But how does it compare to this?" And I totally forgot that they made
Classic.
that when they made Joe into
Great
a
hair though.
was that an NFT or something?
Great hair.
Welty's showing us a
Great
picture
hair.
of
Even the
Joe as
glizzy.
a hot dog.
Even the Glizzy had a great
NFT.
had great hair. So
Did you get any? Did you make like a Hawk Tua coin off of
You
that?
should be selling this on your
Pull
TikTok.
the rug.
I did. I know. Maybe that's why I got hacked.
Should we talk about the sneakers we're wearing?
Yes.
Welty, what are you wearing?
We're doing Saucony Matrixes
Okay.
today. Shout out Ben Stiller.
Yes, he wore
Yeah.
the shoe. I was thinking the Matrix.
Where did he wear the shoe? Just in paparazzi shot or what?
No, oh man, what now? You're
Zoolander, right?
Yes, he wore him in Zoolander. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah. Very nice.
Awesome. Those look good.
Yep.
Cortez, Hirachi,
Reporting for duty.
suede.
Dog
Oh,
tags
yeah.
on there.
Stolen Valor.
That's
Still
one
there.
of my all-time favorite
Pretty funny.
stories.
Pretty funny.
I am
Team Early.
no. I
Oh.
bought these like a civilian, not like you,
Like a
not,
plebe.
not in the service.
Is that
This
the
is
right
the
way?
New Balance Allerdale white leather pair.
Adderalls.
Yeah, the New Balance Adderalls, aka. I was asking Sam Pierce in the UK on the New Balance team if I should go true to size on these. He said true to size. They're like a little bit roomy, but I don't know if I should have gone a half size down. But also, Welty, you and I have compared these so much to the Mephisto Match
Yep.
European walking shoes, and I feel like these fit just like a little loose like those do. So it makes sense to me. Glad to have them. Paid full price, even though.
What's your thoughts on them besides the fit?
I like them. I think that the grain on the leather is cool, but it almost feels like this like cartoony. Remember how we had that conversation about the
ones?
the Jordan 1s from a few years back where like
Yes.
the leather was so tumbled that it was like, what are we doing here? It almost feels like that on these, but they feel great. Leather's so soft. I'm happy about them. I might even retire the Concepts Mephistos, as you've suggested I need to do, Welty, because they all...
Picking those over them, huh?
Yeah, they're just kind of dusty at this point. They're kind of crusty, kind
Okay.
of musty. So, but yeah, right after I bought them, a dude who has access to the New Balance employee store was like, "Let me know if you want the 40% off." And
It's a $250 shoe, so
I didn't move quick enough.
Must
but
be nice.
No, I didn't. No, I paid retail.
I know, that's what I mean. It must be nice to have
that should have been
$250.
your test for him, where it's like, hey, I'll get you another pair of the Allerdales if you can edit these 5 articles super fast, or like
me?
Yeah, or like read through these 3 books. And
It should have been something like
a certain
walking
time
related, as like yours is
Feats of
skateboarding
strength.
related.
It's a feats of strength.
No,
thing.
no, I'm not doing any feats of strength.
no, but I
Oh,
felt like
That's
it's a
challenge. We have a
because it's
stats
like
challenge at work right
I
now.
feel like it's a professorly shoe, so it's just like
True.
If he can name the periodic table, he gets that.
how fast can you transcribe a 20-minute interview?
How many digits of pi can I go to?
Exactly.
3.1415.
Talking about nerding out about some shoes.
Let's get really nerdy.
Okay.
Even though you crucified me on here recently for being nerdy about footwear.
This is the biggest nerd
I
shoe
didn't know.
we've
I didn't
of all
know.
Yeah, you
time,
did.
Okay.
You did.
or that we've had recently.
Yes.
What?
This is the Nike Hyperboot.
It's a collaboration with
Hyperice.
Yep. This is a piece of footwear that Nike first previewed quietly in April of last year at the Olympics. There was a secret back room where people could come and try on these shoes as
Did
well
you try
as
them
a
on
vest.
there?
I did try them on there. Toby Hatfield, Tinker Hatfield's brother, worked on the shoe. What the shoe does is sort of massage your feet. It pressurizes your feet. There's a heat aspect to it as well, so you can turn the shoes on. You can activate this massaging component, and you can activate the heat.
There's
Different
three
levels
buttons
for
on the
each.
side. There's a power button, and then a radiating button, and then a heat button.
So I just want to read off some of the things that Nike and Hyperice say the shoe does. This is just straight from their press release. Dual action performance combines targeted heat therapy with award-winning Normatec dynamic air compression, massage in a wearable and mobile high-top device. 3 distinct levels of compression and heat controlled via intuitive button interface. Operate left and right devices individually or synchronize them with a single press. They're saying it has deep tissue benefits, dual air compression bladders developed from Normatec technology, bonded to warming elements, inspired from Hyperice's thermal technology, which distribute heat evenly throughout the entire shoe. It's a lot of heat. Just driving scientifically proven, according to Nike and Hyperice, therapeutic benefits deep into foot and ankle muscle tissues and joints. They're saying it has proven performance enhancement. Nike athletes at the 2024 Paris Olympics reported that their feet and ankles felt, quote, freer and lighter, as if they've already completed their warm-ups before starting their full warm-up routine. When using the Hyperboot before competition. That's according to Nike and Hyperice.
Okay. Let's just be a little fair here because I wear tested them.
Mm-hmm. We had a pair here at
Around
the
the
office, a
office.
review pair.
I don't know if massage is the right word.
Okay, what's the right word? Yeah.
Compresses.
Yeah.
And for recovery,
Yeah.
massage, you start saying massage, it's like,
You're
oh,
thinking something totally different.
totally different. This was heated compression. Yep.
Basically,
heated
there's like a bladder in the shoes, and it fills up and it gets really tight and constricts around your feet.
I'm going to turn it on. Sorry.
Yeah, they're loud.
Yeah.
This is a loud shoe.
Is it louder than
Yeah,
like the Nike mags or the
I never owned a pair of Nike mags, but I will say this shoe it feels like you're being abducted by aliens when you turn them on, or like there's a swarm of angry bees ready to get at you. I hope people can still hear me over the buzzing on the microphone here, but
Do the compression though.
I
Put
can't tell.
Put your hand in there and have it compressed. Yes.
I might should I just put my feet in them? Should I switch them out for this?
when you put your hand in, you can definitely.
It gets super tight.
Yes,
Yeah.
and super hot.
Have you used them for recovery after the home run?
Yes. So a few weeks ago, I did a 22 miler on the weekend. And after I ran those 22 miles, I went home and I said, I got to turn this off because it's just going to pick up on the mic and it's going to be so loud. So after that long run, I said, I want to use this Nike Hyperboot for its intended purpose, and I want to try to recover with this shoe. So I put both shoes on and I laid up on the couch and I had these on for a good 30 minutes.
Do you have a photo of this?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I got lots of footage. I will
Okay.
say, for me, post long run, I want to take a nap and relax. And I was like, I want to take a nap while these are on my feet and have them work through my tissue, do this Hyperice
It's a little weird to
compression
have.
thing.
It's a little weird to have like a shoe on your foot while you're trying to sleep.
And the noise, I just couldn't do it. So it wasn't that relaxing. But I will say that after using the shoes for a good 30 minutes, my feet did feel better than they would have
That's
otherwise.
interesting.
Yeah, like I enjoyed the compression. My feet felt light. Obviously, if you're doing that kind of exercise or any kind of exercise, you should be stretching before and after. You should be doing...
I never stretch. It's bad. Never stretch.
We could have guessed.
Cold turkey.
You should be doing all kinds of other stuff to help aid recovery, but I do think this shoe helped me. That said, I do think there's not enough coverage of the foot.
How are we looking on foot, though?
You feel like Buzz Lightyear when you put them on.
It reminds me of, and I know I said this to you guys before, where it's like Doug Funny's next door neighbor, Mr. Fink, where he'd always buy something and go, very expensive.
Yeah, and we don't have the price for these just yet. Some of this information is under embargo. Some of it will be off embargo by the time it comes out. But I have to assume this is going to be at least a $500 shoe, maybe $600 or $700. And I just don't think for most people it's going to be that practical.
I had, when I went to physical therapy this morning, I had a talk with because I had the shoe with me, and I just asked the physical therapist, Mike, what he thought about the shoes. And he said, and maybe his point of view is that he thought that maybe this is maybe you're like a real high level athlete who's sponsored by Nike, right? Like say you're on the US Olympic weightlifting team, right? And you have three lifts to hit, and if they have the boots there and you want to put them on your feet in between lifts just because they're there, sure, go at it, right?
Yeah.
But he had thought that the idea that the average person who is just getting into fitness thinks that like all the gadgets are the necessity, because I feel like that's sometimes the target market for a lot of these things are the people who are just getting into fitness. Okay. They're like, oh, what pre-workouts and what massage tools do I need? Because that's what's going to help me get better. That not really a necessity. His take was just eat more protein, sleep more, and drink more water, and then that will aid your recovery and stretch.
I definitely agree that I don't think it's a necessity.
Yeah.
But as someone who does run a lot and is interested in like tools for recovery, it did feel like it helped me. I mean, I didn't do any scientific studies or anything like that, but I do still think it's like a niche application of like, look, if you're a person who is in their 30s and you run a lot and you pick up basketball a few times a week, like, and you want to throw these on afterwards, I think that's awesome. I don't think this is the next Nike revolutionary shoe, but also just in general, I support the idea of Nike making crazy, futuristic, out there, bold shoes because, and I've said this a lot on here lately, I think so much of what we see from them right now is retro product, and I feel like I still want there to be people tinkering away at kooky designs that may not ever catch on, but are still just very audacious.
Where do you think then it goes? You know, when you're talking about like making the next, is this just like too far wishful thinking in the future in your head to like actually be a true footwear innovation, you know?
But let's be honest, a lot of these types of shoes in the past with Nike have not hit.
Yes, agree.
Like
Hyper adapts.
Yeah,
they just haven't.
This is in the same
Nike
vein
Plus
as
basketball shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is going to be a little different than those, because I have the Hyper adapts. I was excited about those. I've worn them once.
Yeah.
And I think that in the past, those have been shoes that sexy tech and did not, for whatever reason, it could be that they were expensive, but like for the casual
I think this has some sort of added bonus to it, though, like the fact that it does have a massage tool to it. I know people love those Normatec boots, which is Hyperice.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Hyperice is the brand that makes those big Normatec boots.
Yeah,
they also make,
which you see a lot of people wear.
Yeah. So I do see the added value in something like that.
It has a little bit more of a performance offering
or utilitarian purpose.
Yes, than some of those shoes that in hindsight we will call more gimmicky, like the Hyper Adapt, or obviously the Nike Mag is in the same vein, but we
but all
the
Nike shoe. When they had that whole line of like the Nike Plus shoes with the chip, like the basketball or the training shoes, where it's no one ever really used them for. They made the LeBrons. They were like $275 or whatever with the chip in them, and
I will say one thing. I thought this shoe, and maybe the final retail pairs will, but I thought it was going to come with like an instruction manual or something. There was no instruction manual in the box.
I think it's pretty user-friendly.
I thought it was user-friendly, but I've been sharing them around with people in my life and having people try them on and get their reaction. And it was a little bit hard for people to decipher exactly how to use the shoe. So you just hold the power button, shoe kind of boots up.
Yeah.
It's cartoony, right?
It gets super tight, though. I think we're missing how tight it gets.
The heat is spicy, too.
And the heat is very warm.
When I turned the heat all the way up, I was like a little bit nervous about whether or not that was good for me. It almost felt like it was going to burn me. Now, I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that it's not going to get too hot, but it was like a little bit like, okay, I'm not sure if I enjoy this. So every time I've worn them, I've turned the heat down. Is this just never going to stop buzzing?
Hit it. Is it turn it off? Or I think you have to hit the
there we go.
when you turn it on with,
Yeah. Crazy looking shoe.
Maybe can you picture people wearing them in the streets?
No.
Though?
So I actually tried that out because here's the thing. As interesting as this is as a piece of footwear design, I was asking myself, is this a real shoe? Because to be a real shoe, it has to be something that you can put on your feet and walk around in, and you actually want to. And I walked around the block in them, and actually, I will say that even though they look absurd and the heel is gigantic, they didn't feel that crazy to me just like walking around. I wouldn't want to be going up and down stairs in them, but like I turned the shoe on, walked around the block.
Did people look at you crazy when you had them on
Nike
feet?
Talk denim on it?
I had kind of big pants to cover it up.
Jeans went over the tongue?
Because that's the other thing is like, what's the point of making a shoe with this kind of technology that is giving you this pressure and massaging your tissue if you can't actually walk around?
I agree. That's the biggest thing for me.
What's the real use if you're just going to sit on your couch with them?
My biggest thing is if they are not wearable,
yes,
there has to be other products that do the same thing that don't have to be in a shoe form, to me.
Exactly.
I could be wrong.
Exactly.
But if they, like these, are they wearable in public? I'm not sure. And if they're not on your, if it's only for like when you're on your couch recovering.
Yeah.
We
need it as a Nike shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I could picture like, I don't know, maybe no, that's too much because it's like an NFL player is not going to like rip their cleats off and, you know, if they're taped up and whatnot, but they could just sitting on the sideline, you know, in between.
I think that is a great use for it.
But I think to that point, if it was like 10-minute recovery or that was the tagline, something like that you wear these for 10 minutes and it's a huge difference. When I wore them around, I don't know if that...
You didn't feel that much of a difference? I definitely felt a difference after 30 minutes in
Okay.
Them. Yeah. One thing, it's a very localized amount of pressure and compression that they give you in the shoe. Like this toe box, there's nothing happening on your forefoot. Even like up the calf a little bit, I was wanting it to have that compression and have that heat around my calf. I didn't feel it that much. Around the ankle, it really hugs you and it really is tight, really sucks you in there. But like otherwise, I just felt like the shoe should be doing more all around. The sensation you're getting basically is, if you remember, Welty, you were talking about being in Walmart with your parents, but you go over to the pharmacy section and you just stick your hand into the blood pressure machine. Remember that?
Yes.
And the thing inflates around your arm.
Yeah.
That's what this thing is doing to your foot.
Also, the old school blood felt like that. That's how. I'm wondering what MKBHD thinks of these. Marquez Brownlee.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's going to get a pair to wear test.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential here, but it is kind of niche. It's been rainy in New York for the past couple of weeks, and I was like wanting to wear them outside. And I was like, can I wear these in the rain? And I didn't have that much opportunity to, but I took them outside in the rain one day, and I've cleaned the soles off to make them more wearable in the house after wearing them outside, and it hasn't short-circuited them just yet. So
you kickflip in these, I get you shoes for a year. Triple down on the bet. Yeah. But interesting shoe. I
just think to me, it's like the price is going to be...
That's the real determining factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I like it because it's on the opposite end of the spectrum as something like a Panda Dunk. Old
for
retro
sure.
shoe from 40 years ago. This is like looking forward, trying to do something bold. Like
I understand there's going to be some sort of, you know, curiosity just because it is a Nike product and it's a sneaker. Like it's definitely not a sneakerhead shoe.
No,
right?
Not at all, which is fine.
No, totally. But it's like, okay, so people are going to want it because it's a Nike product that is something crazy. And, you know, we're talking about it and all the tech sites are going to be talking about it.
Yes.
And it's just going to be, it's that whole like new gadget,
you
know, chase, right? That people want. But it's just like curious to me how the true built-in like plus of this shoe is that it's recovery on the go.
Right.
Right. So it's not just go home and throw the Normatex on, lay on the couch, watch friggin' reruns of Friends or whatever, and zone out.
But if it's on the go, then you actually have to be able to like really.
Also,
But
these
where,
are
but where,
grounds.
like
These
how?
are so
But I'm saying,
big.
how much are you in the need to have? Like, where are the instances where you really need the recovery on the go?
Yeah.
Versus just I can do the recovery at home.
Let me relax.
Yeah.
Let me lay down and stretch. Let me put my feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the applications that I keep hearing people at Nike mention, and I'm into it as well, is like, this is a perfect shoe to wear on a plane, where you're letting the shoe do its work, do its compression.
Yeah, I can see that.
Who's packing these for a trip?
Joe, that's the exact reaction I had.
Can those get through security?
Falls apart.
I asked Toby Hatfield
I'm
about
sorry,
getting them
it
through
falls.
security.
It falls apart for me.
I know,
Like,
because
first
it's
of
funny.
all, you're where like.
That's a lot of
this is
bag
shoe- This
space.
is a if this is a high heel or a sneaker, you're checking this. You're checking this. Like,
Well, to bring these here to the office, I have like a tote bag or whatever, and the only thing that could fit in that bag was the 2 shoes. So it's like,
that falls apart for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. As soon as I thought about the practicality, because it was a good selling point, and I believed in it, and I you felt that on the plane of like,
Yes.
your feet are expanding anyway, so you want the compression, blood flow, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm on my way to take a couple of flights in the next few weeks, and even some of them right after running a marathon, and I was like, oh, this would be great to have. But then I was like, wait, how? Like, and even when you're sitting on the plane, do you just have this shoe on the whole time? It doesn't seem, and this is one of the best case use scenarios that people have been able to think of. So yeah,
I know you guys are going to hate me for it, but I'm definitely team take off shoes on the plane.
even on Spirit.
Man, I just take the shoes off on the plane.
I don't know.
Where do you stand on that, Joe?
I don't have like bare feet. I have my socks on, but it's just take my shoes off on the plane.
It depends on where you're sitting.
It does. That's why I'm not answering.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how close the people are next to you. Should I put them on while we're on here?
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. I hope we explain what they did. It's hard to really describe.
It's a massage gun for your feet.
Massage is an oversell.
Yeah, you really feel
it's
it.
giving you pressure around your feet. It's compressing your feet. It's giving you heet around your feet.
Yeah, it's
to
like
increase blood flow.
it's for your feet, but it's like when you go to the mall or like the airport and there's one of those massage chairs that you can sit on and put $5 in. And
Joe, would you wear these on your way from home to work?
No.
Welty,
I think
would you wear them? Look, you just finished at the gym.
I just think the
Would
thing
you
for
wear them back home and wear them to the corner store?
The thing for me is that like obviously there's been scenarios where that's the case, but it's just like my feet really aren't the sorest part of my body after working out. So I'm not like, man, I need my feet massaged.
Fumbling with these so much.
That's just, but
What feels more comfortable after a workout? Those are your Crocs.
oh, dude, I'd rather just throw in a pair of Crocs and
Really?
and
I
call,
think
yeah,
a lot of people would. I'm not even being like
Yeah.
silly. I think a lot of people would
Just having
after
something loose on your feet
basketball
that's
practice,
just- yeah.
They put slides on,
Yeah.
like that.
Look, I don't want to sound like a Nike homer here. Like I feel like I'm often in the
those
position
look
of defending.
crazy on
Do
your
I
feet.
look insane?
Yes.
But
They
I
look
will
kinda
say
cool
that
from here, but
even though I believe you that you're saying the Crocs feel better, but also I want to live in a world where we are advancing footwear
Well,
technology.
why don't you get those Rejuvenate Nike slides?
Those don't do it for me.
Happy
Wait, do you
medium.
like those?
not really.
Turning the shoes on.
I don't feel anything about them.
People are talking like that's the new revolution in Nike right now.
That can't be a revolution. They're just Crocs, right? I mean, how do you feel about Crocs? Do I look insane?
A little bit.
I don't know. It's tough for me.
It's kind of like a Reebok pump.
And I've tried them on. For me, the technology is not enough for them to look like that.
What if it looked more reasonable?
I'd rather it be.
Or if they made an Air Max 95 recovery shoe.
Sure.
Or if
Yeah.
they looked like the Hyperadapt, if they could fit all that into a shoe. Because the Hyperadapt, for as useless as it feels now, a decade or whatever removed from its debut, at least the Hyperadapt looked cool, or it looked sleek. This doesn't look that sleek. Again, I feel like I'm about
What's
to board a
happening right
spaceship.
now?
What's happening right now is a bladder is inflating around my feet, particularly around the medial sides, like right around my heel or my instep, and it's just like kind of choking me out, but in a good way. Not that I'm into that type of stuff, but
yeah.
and then it stays there for a couple seconds and then it deflates, and the shoes sync up, so they kind of know more or less when the other one is inflating, and it's going up, getting tumescent in unison.
It's a lot of words for I'm not blown away by these. Respectfully is
Yeah. That's
you
fair.
know.
Yeah.
That's what I like. If you're like, you have to try
Yeah.
this. I think what he said, like the percentile of people who these are for,
Yes.
very, very small.
Yes. But I like that.
Yeah.
No, I gotta stop. I sound like I'm just like defending.
No,
it.
no, it's fine.
Well, it's like I was having that conversation earlier at the PT office when we're talking about it, and it's just like funny where it's like I'm totally support anyone on the fitness journey, and this seemed like that, but it's
and that's a big thing in your life.
Yes, of course. But it's like, man, if you go run a mile and a half, I don't think you need to go throw on the Normatex to recover from it, right? But it's like a lot of people, I think, just are going to be, intrigued by this because it's like that.
I mean, what if LeBron comes out and is like, "Hey,
LeBron's been wearing them."
If he's like,
But
this is totally changed.
But I understand that.
Because
I understand. But see that. But that's what I was saying earlier with like the NFL example. Like I totally understand that for a professional athlete where they want any tool in their bag,
Every tool, and you go to the locker room afterward,
yeah,
and they're sitting
totally do. Especially if you're sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like the biggest sell on it. And I know they're not making any money off of that, but it's like people who are sponsored athletes who get a chance to use this totally understand the appeal of it.
Are they compressing now or decompressing?
They're filling back up right now. One other thing they had when they first previewed these in Paris last year was there was a vest that Nike made in collaboration with Hyperice that did some of the same stuff. I think there was no compression on the vest, if I recall correctly, but it was a vest that would warm you up and cool you down, and that felt
cool. To me, that's cooler than the shoes.
Really, the vest.
And probably more wearable.
Yeah, for sure. You don't look as much like a Tron character. There were fans on it, and you can imagine the applications of that in the heat of the summer games, and
Yeah, and I mean, it's like the Hyperice stuff is good stuff. Like it's like
you're a Hyperice user.
I like it. They have like that one. It's like you look like the the old guy working at Home Depot with like the back brace.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
There's like a belt that it's just like a back massager.
Yeah.
That's, you see like the old guy at Home Depot who has like the big black belt brace. It looks like that. But those feel awesome when you have them on.
Yeah.
The shoe, I'm not all the way sold.
I mean, speaking of sold, I did just get the release info from the PR people. So this is going to be a $900 Nike shoe. That's the retail price on the shoe, $899 exactly. They're going to release at Nike.com, Hyperice.com, Nike stores, Dick's Sporting Goods. There is a 90-minute battery life if you're running them at max heat and max air compression, they say, and then 8-hour battery life on just max air compression, no heat. And Hyperice is saying there are no plans right now to release the vest that I talked about. So yes, this is going to be a very expensive, historically expensive Nike shoe, even more expensive than we were guessing on here. How that affects its reception and legacy is yet to be seen.
Okay.
What if I pass out? What if the constriction just
it does get tight.
Up? Yeah.
It does get tight.
Yeah.
All right, we got to the end. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. The new Nike Tech.
There's a
collab.
lot of stuff going on around my feet, around my ankles right now.
I'm waiting for like a case study to be like, this totally changed from an actual athlete, not us, respectfully.
What?
Nah, not like.
Hey, you know what
Nike says.
Yep, you got a body.
You're an athlete.
That's true. Great words to end by.
Wait, I know you're a big Joe Budding guy, right? Podcast. Do you feel
avid listener, avid
Do you
watcher.
feel like him trying the shoe out would change your mind?
Why would he?
Nice.
Pump it up.
It's not really a pump though.
It's so funny feeling it on my feet. I do feel like in some ways it's the dream of the Reebok pump realized decades later.
Maybe.
For totally different functions, for recovery rather than some type of performance or making you jump higher.
I'm
not jumping any higher with these on.
I'm interested to see like the response to it.
Yeah, let me know how quick I look on my feet later on, or how relaxed I seem, or nimble.
Maybe your mile time will decrease by like 30 seconds. Owe it all to Hyperice Nike.
There's an ad for you.
All right, everyone. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. We hope everyone has a great weekend. Please like, subscribe, comment. We will see you next week.